This is Cindy Best from the Best Law Firm, and we are walking you through the process to file your own forms for a divorce in Maricopa County, Arizona, without minor children. That means without children under the age of 18. And the fourth document that you need to file in the series is called the Petition for Dissolution of Non-Covenant Marriage without Minor Children. And as we talked about earlier, if you had a covenant marriage, you would know it because you had to get married in a special way. And petition for dissolution is just a divorce petition. So let's take a look at the document that you need to fill out and file with your other documents. Again, you fill out your name and your address and your telephone number. You won't have an Atlas number again. You're representing yourself. You can see with the red check mark up there. Then you leave the case number blank. That's what the clerk will fill in when you file it. Again, you're the petitioner and you are filing this against your wife, the respondent, who is Rachel Chandler. You want to tell the court under oath, and they say under oath because you're going to have this one notarized at the very end. So let's go through this. Again, you're the petitioner. Information about me, the petitioner. I'm Ross Chandler. I live in New York, and my date of birth I will fill out. The court does not need you to fill out your job title or anything like that, but you do have to have resided in Maricopa County for the prior 90 days. So that's why they ask how long you've lived in Arizona, and Ross has been here for 10 years. So he meets the 90-day requirement, obviously. Rachel's name and address is down there as well, and she's lived in Arizona for the past 8 years. You do have to tell the judge or the court, number 3, information about my marriage. The date you were married, and then again the city and state where you were married is required by the court. Then you have to check the following boxes, and you make vows. You make statements that these are true, that you do not have a covenant marriage, that your marriage is irretrievably broken. They write it as if it's broken beyond repair, and there's no hope of reconciliation. The court also makes sure that you're aware that there is conciliation services provided by the Maricopa County Services, and you do not think that would help resolve your marital issues and you still need your divorce. You check that box. You've tried to resolve it, or if you tried to go to conciliation services, it would not work. Again, the jurisdictional is the 90-day requirement under number 4. You have to check the box that you've been here for the prior 90 days. And if you have not been here for that requisite number of days, you cannot file for divorce in Maricopa County at this time. So that's page 1, and let's now go to page 2. Community property, you do not have to fill this out in great detail, but most likely you and your spouse did acquire property during your marriage, and in Arizona, which is a community property state, any property that you acquired during the marriage is presumed to be community. We have a later video going into more detail about community property that you can see at your convenience. But for now, you probably do have community property, so you could check that particular box. And you don't have to put down at this point in time and tell the court where your real estate is located, or your household furniture or other items. But at a later date, when you need to divide that up, you'll have to fill that information in, as well as the pension and the motor vehicles. But you can certainly file this document without filling in all of the information on page 2. So let's now go to page 3. It asks you on page 3 for separate property. Separate property is called sole and separate property in Arizona, and it's property that you brought into the marriage or was gifted to you during the marriage, or property that's just yours, such as maybe your golf clubs or perhaps your jewelry, or anything that you got through a will. Somebody in your family passed away during your marriage that was willed to you separately. So you do not have to fill in the description of it, but you could check the box up above if you have sole and separate property, meaning you, the petitioner, the person that's filing this. And community debts, if you acquired debt of any kind during the community, it's presumed community, so you probably do have community debt, but you don't have to list it as well. You can just check the box, and we'll have a video on community debt as well that you can review. Separate debt would be debt that you probably had before the marriage, or debt that you have considered as your separate debt by agreement, written agreement, or perhaps a prenuptial agreement, something like that. You may or may not have any kind of separate debt. So that's page 3. And you can go to page 4 and check the box on tax returns. You don't have to make that decision right now about your taxes, but you can check that box if you would like that particular rule for your IRS taxes to be filed, and you'll have to read that very carefully. But you can also put that information will also be in your final documents called your decree when you get your final divorce. So you can check that box if you want to. Spousal maintenance, please see our video on spousal maintenance, and it used to be called alimony. In Arizona it's called spousal maintenance. So you could check that box, and if you are thinking you're entitled to spousal maintenance from your spouse, you'll want to check that box for now. If you're not quite sure, you might want to check it, and you can always change your mind on any of these issues at a later date. The court also requires you under number 9 to advise the court that you're not pregnant, or if you are, the baby's due on a certain date, and who the parents are. If the wife is pregnant and the petitioner and the respondent who are you're divorcing are the parents of the child, you have to use a different form, so don't keep going forward with this form. You'll have to stop and file the papers for divorce with children. All right, and the final page is what you're asking the court to order, requests to the court. You're asking them to dissolve your marriage. In other words, you're asking them to return you to the status of a single person, so you're asking for the divorce. If you would like your name changed, and generally it happens with the females who have changed their name for marriage, if you'd like your name changed back to your maiden name, this is a good time to tell the court that process. And that's all you have to do is advise them of that, and when the judge signs it, it's a court order. If you have asked for spousal maintenance in your petition, you'll want to ask the court, tell the court how much you would like and for how many months you would like to have it paid to you. If you don't know, you could put unknown or not sure or will be decided later. You can handwrite that information in there if you need to. Under community property, you obviously would like a fair division of all the property. Even if you didn't fill it in earlier and tell the court what it was, of course you would like it to be a fair division of community property, split 50-50 generally. Community debt, the same thing. You'd like it to be split, equitably. And if you have separate property, you'll want to ask the court to award that to you as well. And if you have any other orders that you would like, you could put that in there. You might ask the judge that you would like to live in the house until it's sold, or some such thing. You want to drive a certain car until the divorce. That might be where you put other orders that you're requesting. And then you simply sign it and you have it notarized, and you have finished this 5-page document necessary for your divorce in Arizona. Thank you.